بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين. Today I'm going to talk about if and if are friction consonants. You know that fricatives in English are 9 in number, and these are as follows. We have if and if, seniz, shenish, and the last one is he, sound represented by the letter H. Now, today I'm going to talk about the first pair of friction consonants, which is represented by if and if. Now here, before we go further, we have to consider the fact that these are oral sounds. These are, of course, you know that English consonants are either oral or nasal. Why? Because the breath either goes through the nasal cavity or through the oral cavity. So this is why we can say that we have nasal and oral sounds. Of course, in English, nasals are 3 in number, M, N, and Ng. And only these are nasals, that is, the breath goes through the nasal cavity. What about the others? All the others, and the production of all the other consonants, the breath goes through the oral cavity. What does this mean? That is the mouth. The breath goes through the oral cavity or the mouth. What does this mean? It means that the soft pellet, the first thing we have to consider is that the soft pellet should be raised. This is the case for all consonants except nasals. Now, what do we have here? To talk about the production of if and if, we have to consider these three things. We have to draw the diagram, rasm, then we mention the points related to the production of these two phonemes, these two sounds, and then we give a description of these two sounds or phonemes. So I'm going to start drawing the diagram, which as usual I start drawing the upper jaw. Now this is the upper jaw. This is the upper jaw. This is the upper jaw. Of course, it gives us no idea about the production of any sound. This is general. This doesn't give us an idea about the production of any sound without the lower jaw, that is. Now here, the first thing we have to consider, as I have just said, is that since these sounds are oral, that is, the breath goes through the oral cavity, then the first thing we have to consider is that the soft pellet should be raised. You know that the soft pellet is either raised or lowered. The soft pellet is a movable organ of speech, so it is either raised or lowered. If it is raised, it touches the wall or the pharynx. Now this is the wall or the pharynx. As you see here, now this means that the soft pellet is now raised. When it is raised, it touches the wall or the pharynx. This is the wall, جدار البلعوم. This is the wall or the pharynx. Now here, the soft pellet is raised. So it touches, if it is raised, it touches the wall of the soft pellet. So we can say that the first point, the soft pellet is raised. The soft pellet is raised so that no breath, no air goes through the nasal cavity. The breath can't go through the nasal cavity. Why? Because the soft pellet is raised here. Again, the soft pellet is raised so that no breath goes through the nasal cavity, and all the breath is forced to go through the oral cavity or the mouth. So the breath is forced, yujbar, to go through the oral cavity or mouth. This is the first point. Also, when producing if and if, what do we need here? For example, when I say f, v, what am I using here? What am I using? I'm using the lower lip being very close to the upper front teeth. So here, the lower lip is very close to the upper front teeth. Now, how do we show this? We show it this way. Now you see here, these are the upper teeth. Now, you say that the lower lip, this is the lower lip. I'm going to draw the lower lip. The lower lip is very close to the upper front teeth. Now this is the tongue. And this is the way we draw the diagram. You see here, the lower lip now is very close to the upper front teeth. This forms a narrowing, or the narrowing. This forms, that is, when the lower lip comes very close to the upper front teeth, this forms the narrowing. And this is, as you see here, this is the narrowing. This is the narrowing. And when the breath passes, when the breath that comes out of the lungs, you know that, when the breath that comes out of the lungs, which goes upwards, passing through the windpipe or trachea, then the vocal folds or larynx, and then the pharynx, and comes here, the nasal cavity is blocked, is closed, the breath goes through this narrowing and out of the mouth. So the second point says the lower lip is very close to the upper front teeth. This forms the narrowing. And when the breath passes through this narrowing, it passes with friction. This is the second point. Now we move to the third point. Here, in the third point, what do we have? The tongue is not directly concerned in making these sounds, these two sounds or phonemes. The tongue is not directly concerned in making these sounds. Of course, we don't need the tongue when producing if and if. We use the lower lip with the upper front teeth. Now, the tongue here, the third point says, the tongue is not directly concerned in making these sounds, but it does not lie idle. Lie idle means ما يبقى كسلان. It does not lie idle. What does it do? Here, it does not lie idle. It will be ready for the following sound. It will be ready for the following sound. So, for example, in a fly, in the word fly, the tongue here will be raised, touching the average. Whilst if is being pronounced. Whilst if is being pronounced. Now, again, the tongue is not directly concerned in making these sounds, but it does not lie idle. It does not lie idle. يعني ما يبقى كسلان، ما يبقى غير متحرك. This happens when using if in context, في السياقات، في كلمات. Again, the tongue is not directly concerned in making these sounds, but does not lie idle. It will be ready for the following sound. So, in a fly, for example, in a fly, what do we have? The tongue here is raised, touching the ridge. The tongue, see, fly. The tongue is raised, touching the ridge, and also in fee, for example, in the word fee, the tongue here will go to the front position of the mouth, the front part of the mouth. So we say fee, the tongue goes to the front part of the mouth. Now this is the third point. Now how to describe these two phonemes? What do we have here? To describe these, we say that if, for example, if is what is fricative. It is fricative. Why? Of course, you know that because here in fricatives, in all fricatives, there is always a narrowing. You see that this is the narrowing, and when the breath passes through this narrowing, it passes with the friction. Therefore, we say that if is a fricative. Now, it is also labiodental from the point of view of labiodental. So fricative from the point of view of manner of articulation, it is a fricative. From the point of view of place, it is labiodental. And from the point of view of voicing, it is voiceless. There is no vibration in the vocal folds while producing. If there is no vibration in the vocal folds, it is voiceless. And also, of course, it will be long, strong, and fortis. What about if? Now move to if. Of course, the same goes for if, except in some points here. Fricatives, fricative is also fricative, and also labiodental, but it differs from if in that it is voiced, not voiceless. So It is voiced, and since it is voiced, it will be short, weak, and leanness. And these are the points related to the production of if and if. These are the points related to the production of if and if. Now we move to, I'm going to read the words in the book. Of course, the book I'm going to use is 4th edition, and also the same, also 26th edition, I think, 2003, and also 1984. So now page 26, please. Page 26, middle of this page. Fast, vast, feel, wheel, foul, vowel, ferry, very, fan, van, few, view, fear, via, file, vial, fat, vat, fail, and veil. Move to the next group, please. Bottom of page 26 also. Safa, cover, dafa, never, sniffing, giving, proofing, proving, rafa, lever, sofa, over, safer, saver, offer, hover, defied, divide, refuse, reviews. Now move to next, page 27, please. Very fast, very vast. I feel fine, I feel vile. Fine furs, fine verse. 4 fans, 4 vans. A good few, a good view. Move to the middle of the same page, please. Leave, leave. Half, have. Calf, calve. Proof, prove. Serve, serve. Life, live. Strive, strive. Rave, rave. Wave, wave. Save and save. Now move to the next group, please. Bottom of this page, the same page 27. Stiff, sieve. Cliff, live. Sniff, give. Gaff, have. Off, of. Rough, dove. Bluff, love. Fluff, glove. Move to page 28, please. A half sniff, a stiff glove, a brief love, a rough grave, a dwarf stove, a brave bluff, a live dove, a safe move, a grave grief, a cliff drive.